From the shadows of the National Palace.
Subscribe from the muddy trenches of politics. This is the pigsty, the pig pen of politics, with Che Morano.
How are you, my dear inhabitants of this foul but always entertaining sewer? Welcome to another episode of the pigsty, the pig pen of politics. The only place where we don't bathe, but we do get rid of the mental filth that the so-called enlightened ones of social media want to impose on us. Make yourselves comfortable, get your brain disinfectant ready, and hold your breath. Because today the smell of progre pop is stronger than ever. I'm your untrustworthy host, Che Morano, and here I bring you the dose of acidic reality that burns so much for those who live in a candy-coated world. Have you already dried your tears of emotion, my brave keyboard warriors? Have you finished thanking the universe? Because the guy who sounds like he's gargling glue stood up for Latin culture at the Super Bowl. How adorable are you all? Really, your capacity. My amazement at mediocrity is the only thing that keeps my faith alive, that the end of the world is near. Come in, sit in the mud, because today the pigsty is rowdier than usual. You already know that here, not even the one handing out the wafers is spared, and today we're going to break down the spectacle of decadence. Adjust your headphones and brace your stomach, because the dose of reality is coming without any softening. The message was clear. Yes, that's not up for discussion. We are one, we are family, we are workers, and America is a continent, not a country. Everything Benito talked about in the show, you and I have lived it. The little house, the wedding, the kids making trouble and sleeping, the market, the love, the party, the flavor. We just needed an uneducated person to come remind us of it, and for you to applaud him. But there's much more to it. Let's begin. There was a time back in prehistory, before attention deficit became the national sport, when the Super Bowl halftime show was a display of talent, real music, and artists who didn't need a sound engineer sweating bullets to keep the auto-tune from blowing up. Today, what they sell us as a world-class show is just luxury karaoke for a generation that can't focus for more than 15 seconds without watching a cat video. We saw Benito, the Bad Bunny, who, honestly, the only bad thing about him is his pitch, trying to convince us that he's an artist. Listening to his voice is a religious experience, yes, but the kind that makes you beg God to let you go deaf. His vocal cords produce sounds that, to be honest, are identical to the ones my digestive system makes. After eating tacos from outside the subway and facing the harsh reality of the toilet bowl, I was fascinated. And when I say fascinated, I mean it made me nauseous. Watching that horde of influencers and progressive commentators on the verge of an intellectual orgasm. Because Benito pulled out some flags. Oh, how profound. What a disruptive message. Look, you bunch of naive people. Saying that Bad Bunny represents Latin culture is exactly the same as saying that Sushi Ito represents high Japanese cuisine. What we saw wasn't a dignified representation. It was a parade of cheap cliches, designed precisely to feed the vision that the average American has of us. Twerking, thongs, palm trees, and an aesthetic of being screwed but still partying. They fell right into the trap. They sold you the same old stereotype, just wrapped up with a bow of empowerment. And them? The communicators and influencers, just like little goldfish. They swallowed it whole, hook, line, and sinker. Benito's team is brilliant, you have to admit that. They know perfectly well that their client has the same vocal range as an old door, so they use the old, reliable, massive distraction. Hey, if the guy can't hit a single note, it doesn't matter. Just put 40 dancers in thongs, set up an awesome $5 million stage, and have food stands where the lights follow the audience. It's the perfect formula to numb the masses, as long as there's enough noise and enough skin on display. Nobody realizes that the king has no clothes, and that what's coming out of the microphone is lyrics that sound like they were written by the guy who wrote my shampoo instructions, but with even less coherence. But let's not fool ourselves. The problem isn't that Benito sings badly. The real disgust comes from the aesthetics of life. Constant victimization. It's very comfortable, very profitable, and very applauded to stand on an American stage and try to criticize lice and the United States, of course, by sending indirect messages, because doing it directly, strongly, and clearly requires more than just grabbing your crotch. Bravo, so brave. Benito. He sells tickets like hotcakes, but you know what he doesn't sell? Criticizing the dictatorships that are bleeding the continent dry. Criticizing the drug trafficking that has half of Mexico and Central America under its boot. Criticizing the structural corruption that has us stuck in the mud. Bad Bunny and his entourage of committed artists operate like cultural populists. They create a simple narrative. The United States is the bad guy. We are the victims. And with that story, they wipe away in one stroke the responsibility of failed leftist systems and the tyrannies that force millions to flee. Let me ask you, my friends, have you heard Benito talk about the Aragua train? Or about how the Mexican cartels use migrants as human merchandise, kidnapping, extorting, and assaulting them along the migration routes? No, of course not. That doesn't rhyme with lover and horny. That doesn't sound good. In a TikTok video with EPIA filters, these characters don't want to free anyone. They want to keep filling stadiums. They sell an epic city, real costs. They raise their fists. They throw out the trendy progressive slogan. They pick up the Grammy, which now has less quality control than a urine test at the Olympics. And they go back to their multi-million-dollar mansions. Mansions where, by the way, I don't think they have any undocumented migrants staying. They use them for their song lyrics, not to share a table with them. We're going to defend them, but from a distance. Look, my esteemed mammal friends from Corral. What we saw recently wasn't a milestone for the species, it was the autopsy of a collective brain that can't even handle riding a bicycle anymore. They gave Benito, that poet of the unintelligible, the golden opportunity to romanticize third world Latin America. And oh, surprise, he did it wonderfully. He represented us exactly as Uncle Sam wants to see us. As what we are. Countries screwed to the core. Yes, very cheerful, very funny. Oh, how nice the Latin flavor. But at the end of the day, underdeveloped, they portrayed us living in the countryside, without technology, without progress, with little straw hats and sexy dances. Bravo, let's keep applauding the caricature. By doing this, we're basically giving Donald Trump a blank check so he can look down on us and say, see, I told you so. They are countries stuck in misery and cheap folklore. Let them stay that way. That's what these curious specimens that nature gave us love. Don't be fooled. The halftime show isn't for those who know about American football. It's a trap for idiots. It's a fishing net to generate views from people who can't tell a touchdown from an auto-tuned screech. They needed a puppet who was popular, who would generate controversy, and who would make the brands go wild. Bad Bunny gets the job done. It was a viral show, sure, like a video of a cat falling off a roof, but quality art. Please don't insult my intelligence. The little I have left, I use it to keep from spilling my whiskey every time I take a sip. This is where things get complicated. This isn't a musical debate, it's a psychiatric problem. When a society starts defending any kind of garbage just because it's ours, because I identify with it, because we have culture and all that nonsense, then it no longer has judgment, it has blind nationalism. And that nationalism, dear pigs, is the close cousin of manipulation. When they convince you that you should applaud something because of the flag, and not because of its quality, you're no longer choosing. They're choosing for you. They're controlling you like a puppet at a fair. True art elevates you and challenges you. It hits you with a dose of reality and forces you to grow. Trash culture, on the other hand, numbs you, hypnotizes you with the rhythm of an old washing machine, and turns you into a simple consumer of processed crap. Confusing streaming popularity with legacy is like confusing a coughing fit with an opera. That's where the danger lies. A people that never questions what they consume. It's the wet dream of any dictator or advertiser, and I'm telling you this, because Louis Berman is one of them. An advertiser, I mean, not a dictator. Those who don't think are easy to govern. Those who only repeat three-word chants will never think of writing their own song, much less question anything. Why is the price of tortillas through the roof? Did you think this was organic? Poor, naive people. Let's look at the facts. We're not here to make things up. And what about black people? I'm almost sure that a lot of people don't know that Bad Bunny is managed by Remus Entertainment, owned by Rafael Jimenez Dan. And who is this little angel? None other than the former deputy minister of the late Hugo Chavez's government, a Venezuelan military officer who overnight decided to invest $2 million, confirmed by Billboard, not by the guy next door, to create this monster. And I ask myself, why would a Chavista military officer want to be a music producer? For the cultural battle, geniuses. Bad Bunny attacks the United States, talks about light colonialism, but has anyone seen him criticize the Cuban dictatorship? Have you seen him say anything about the regime that expelled 7 million Venezuelans? It's never a mockery of the elites. It's to operate within a system designed to maximize consumption and keep people distracted. He's a rebel with the system's permission, a peaceful revolutionary, a troublemaker who gets paid in dollars and stays silent about what really matters. It makes me deeply sad to see that critical thinking has gone down the drain. If something is trendy, you have to applaud it. If millions watch it, it must be good. And if you dare to say it's garbage, they want to lynch you. The favorite argument of brain-dead centennials is that you're old, you don't get it. Come on, you don't have to be a genius to realize they're manipulating you and making a fool out of you. Besides, you even brag about it. Before, for millions to listen to you, you had to sing, you had to feel pain, you had to say something to their face. Today, it's enough to mumble 2 phrases, put on a repetitive beat, and have an army of idiots shouting, "Genius!" That's not a record of talent, it's a diagnosis of mass stupidity. The equation is perfect. 0% talent, 100% connected brains, millions of brains thinking they're searching. In short, my dear pigs, the Super Bowl thing wasn't a historic milestone. It was a successful business transaction. It was the coronation of mediocrity, raised to the level of art by a society that prefers an easy rhythm over deep reflection. Benito can't sing, but he knows how to preach. For those who don't want to think, he's a perfect market product. A safe rebellion, packaged and ready to be consumed by people who think grabbing their crotch is a sign of intellectual authority. So keep on dancing while the continent falls apart. After all, El Conejo already told you that we're family, that we're united, that we're screwed but happy, while he counts his bills. They put Bad Bunny there because they knew he wouldn't bite the hand that feeds him. He's the perfect smokescreen. The left celebrates its diversity without touching real power, and the owners of the game keep laughing in their mansions. It's sad, but today success doesn't speak to the greatness of the artist. It speaks to how small our society is and the moment we're living in. We are a crowd that's easy to entertain, and therefore easy to herd. Anyway, pigs, I'm tired of casting pearls before you. There's your dose of bile so you can talk about it at your family gathering and end up fighting with each other. Keep partying while the world falls apart. After all, thinking is exhausting, isn't it? And well, you can go back to your favorite mud pit now. Don't forget to wash your ears with real music, if you even remember what that is. I'm leaving before the smell of progressive incense gives me an asthma attack. See you next time, if global ignorance doesn't wipe us out first. The show is over now. I'm Che Morano, and this was La Posilga, the pigsty of politics. Goodbye.
This is La Posilga, the pigsty of politics with Che Morano.